The Supreme Court is hearing oral arguments today in the case against the migrant protection protocols.
Many refer to the protocols as the Remain in Mexico policy. This was put in place by the Trump administration. And under the policy, migrants who traveled to the southern border were required to wait outside the U.S. until their asylum hearings. It kept some 70,000 Latin American migrants from entering the country.
The Biden administration suspended the policy and started the process to end it last year, but a lower court forced the policy to be reinstated. Fast forward to today, and it now sits before the Supreme Court. Joining us now is CBS News immigration reporter Camilo Montoya-Galvez. Camilo, always great to have you here on set with us. Thanks so much for being here. So to our viewers who are not familiar, please explain the difference between the so-called Remain in Mexico policy and Title 42, which is also the subject of legal action.
That's correct. These are two Trump-era border policies that the Biden administration has continued, one of them willingly and the other because of a federal court ruling. In 2019, the Trump administration enacted the Remain in Mexico policy to require tens of thousands of migrants to wait for their asylum hearings outside of the U.S. The Biden administration quickly suspended that policy, but then Republican officials convinced a federal judge to order that policy's reinstatement. So far, the Biden administration has been implementing that policy, but in a limited fashion, affecting fewer than 3,000 asylum seekers so far. Title 42, on the other hand, is supposed to be a public health policy, not an immigration measure. The CDC first invoked this authority in March of 2020 during the Trump administration as a temporary measure to control the spread of the coronavirus.
And yet it's become an immigration measure.
Correct. Unlike Remain in Mexico, the Biden administration decided to keep Title 42 in place and has actually used it more often and longer than the Trump administration, carrying out over 1 million expulsions of migrants in over a year. We know that unlike Remain in Mexico, Title 42 does not allow migrants to seek asylum. Instead, they are rapidly expelled to Mexico or to their home countries on public health grounds. The CDC announced earlier this month that it intends to end Title 42 in late May. But we saw a federal judge in Louisiana yesterday said that he plans to block the administration from immediately winding down Title 42 as planned because of another lawsuit by Republican officials.
So we're still waiting and seeing what happens next. But what is Texas's argument in this case? And if the high court does rule in favor of the state, what will happen going forward?
That's a key question, Nancy. Texas is arguing before the Supreme Court that federal law generally requires officials to either detain migrants or return them to Mexico. Because there is not enough detention capacity to detain everyone who crosses the border illegally, Texas is arguing that the administration should be returning some migrants to Mexico, and if they don't, they're violating this federal law.
Right.
The Justice Department argued today before the Supreme Court that if Texas' argument is correct, then every U.S. administration would have violated this federal law because only the Trump administration implemented Remain in Mexico, and only in 2019. And the Justice Department, again, is arguing that every executive branch has broad authority to end policies enacted under previous administrations because of its own policy choices, and especially those that implicate foreign policy, because these are non-Mexican migrants that the Mexican government has to accept in its territory. So far, lower courts have sided with Texas and Republican officials, so we'll have to see how the Supreme Court intervenes in this case. But I think we saw the justices today express concerns about some of the arguments on both sides.
All right, so Camilo, of course, midterms are coming up in November. Do you think that this Supreme Court decision could have an impact on how those elections turn out?
I think, Tanya, border policy will certainly be a top political issue, not just in November, but in 2024 during the presidential election that year. We've certainly seen Republicans put aside some of their differences to unite on this message of criticizing not just the administration, but Democrats on immigration, especially Democrats who are facing tough re-election fights in November. And we've also honestly seen some Democrats feel that this issue could hurt their chances of being reelected. And that is illustrated by the fact that many of them don't talk about this issue, or they're now coming out and criticizing the Biden administration for planning to end Title 42 in late May. So I think if federal courts intervene and force the administration to keep Title 42 and Remain in Mexico, that will certainly anger progressive activists. but it might be welcomed by some moderate Democrats, even if quietly.
Immigration continues to be one of the thorniest issues facing American voters. All right, Camilo, thank you so much for that.
Thank you.